Good morning. It's Wednesday the 15th of June. Today we're going to be doing a mini renovation on the lawn behind me. We're going to be using every tool in front of me that you see, and we've got a special birthday greeting to give later on, so stay tuned because it might just be for you. So let's crack on.
Throughout history, men have always been drawn to grass. Whether it be in the park, a sports ground, or simply in your own garden. There's just something about those quintessential British stripes that makes you want them for yourself. Not to mention getting one over on your neighbours. Follow Daniel on his lawn journeys in his step-by-step videos this year, whilst you create your own lawn journey, achieving that dream lawn you have always wanted with simple and easy to follow methods. The lawn you have always dreamed of is only a grass seed away. Now sit back and enjoy the video. Oh, and one more thing. If you want to subscribe, you know what to do.
Okay, as usual, as soon as I start filming, somebody starts to blow her up. Absolutely, can't write the script. So, just having a quick look over the lawn. You can see there, a bit of a weed grass, I've just seen that. So I've got my fork on me, because I've just been doing some work on the other side. So I'm just gonna get the fork out, pull that out. A little bit of, I'm not sure it's annual meadow grass, but we'll get rid of it anyway just to make sure it's not. I don't think it is, but it's gone now anyway. So that'll do. So getting back to walking over, what I did, I started the process against the stripes that I already had in place. So we was going up there quite a lot just every time, and the stripes are absolutely bob on, but the grass was beginning to grow laterally that way. So what I did was, on Monday I got the rotary out, the hater, and I cut back along the stripe. As you can see, it's not as defined. So what I'm going to do today is first, I'm going to do that again, and then we're going to get on with the red scarifier behind me, the Ye Old Faithful, do that. Then we're going to go on with the allet, with the scarifying attachment, to just give it a bit more and to pick up what we've achieved with that. Then we're going to go on with the hater again, pick up all the stuff, go on with the cylinder. We're going to feed it with the Equinox HD, and then we're going to spray a wetting agent and some Steller. Alright, I just wanted to show you something. If you're wondering, if you're seeing some of these on your new lawn, some long stalks like that, this is completely normal. It's just the grass going into reproductive mode. There's nothing you can do about it, but today, by when we're scarifying, we'll hopefully rip through this, and then this will come out, and then later on when we go over it again with the rotary, we'll be able to chop them down and start them happening. But there's some there, look, and these are just growing laterally along the floor. So don't be concerned, it's just the time of the year. Just like every other mammal on earth, you know, they have reproductive systems. The grass is exactly the same. And if I show you one, which I pulled out of the border yesterday, which has just been left and never cut, you'll see what will happen if you just left those stalks to grow. Look at the size of this beauty. That's its roots, and that was just growing in the side. Look how big it is. Got a stalk on it, and then we get to the seed head, and then there's your Barrenbrug extreme in its natural format before it's harvested. So it's really interesting to see, and even if you have a look at the size of the plant, the roots aren't so much longer, they're just a lot thicker. So perennial ryegrass naturally isn't a big rooter, so when we're trying to get big roots on them, it's actually going against what it should be doing, so it's actually unhealthy. So just bear that in mind. If you haven't got deep roots, it's just the plants, this particular type of plant doesn't have big roots on it. So it's very interesting to see that. So there you go. Right, so I've just done that with the hater on number 2, really on top of this lawn, because we've cut it on 2 and we've not scalped anywhere and left any rings. That's a great sign to show that we're actually still riding along that soil level, which is where we want to be. And you achieve this by regular cutting, that's it. And that's what we've been doing. So we're on target for what we're going to do. What we're doing now is we're going to get the red scarifier out, the Elcor, run it up and down, not following the stripes, we'll just go singles because that doesn't matter at this point. And we're going to thin this lawn out. It's just getting a bit hot and sweaty in there, so we're just going to give it a bit of time to breathe and just let the wind blow through it and stop that disease coming, because we have just got a little bit, I noticed there, probably a little bit of brown patch forming, so that just shows now that we're doing this at the right time. So we'll get this thinned out and then that lawn will be able to breathe and that should just disappear. So we even get disease on the best lawns. That's just life. Disease is a part of every life form, so no need to be worried at this point. So let's get the machine out and we'll crack on. Right, so we've had a bit of a nightmare start. The ye old faithful has gone again, the pull cord snapped. So we can't use that today. It wouldn't start and I've been trying to get it started. I was using it yesterday, but today, no, it's give up the ghost. So change of plan. We'll just have to go on with the scarifying attachment straight away and take it from there. So let's get on with that. Now what I do is, just before I start, I don't pay too much attention to what the number says on the dial on the outlet, because it came off a few weeks ago and I stuck it back on and I stuck it on like upside down or something, so it doesn't actually say anything. So what I do is I'll just run up and down a few times and just adjusting the dial until I'm happy with the amount of stuff that's coming up. If you go too low, the scarifying attachment will just dig in and it'll actually stop the engine from going and the cogs will just stop working. So be careful that you don't go too deep because you end up burning the belts. So I'm happy with where I'm at there. As you can see there, just done a few test runs and I'm ready to go. Okay, let's just have a quick look in the box and you can see again, got all this stuff out. Can only be a good thing. Again, you know, that sponginess that would be in the lawn is now in the box and out of there. And look at that, we've even picked up a little ladybird, so we'll have to get that out because we don't want him getting trapped. So we'll just put him on the ground there and hopefully he'll be all right. So yeah, so it's looking good. Now what you can see is now is how long the grass actually is. You know, I thought this was pretty short, but if you have a look now, we've really got some of these long grasses up. Because what happens is, with the cylinder mower cutting, because you're flattening the grass before you cut it, you're actually only cutting what springs back up. Now what happens is, that grass that is the bits that you haven't cut just keeps growing along the floor, and then it's only on days like this that you rake it back up and you find out how long it is. I remember, a long time ago now, when it would have been 2001 to 2003, I was seeing a girl from Macclesfield and her dad worked at the football club and I got a job there working in the bar alongside doing this. But anyway, one day I was Rory the lion, the mascot, because the guy who normally did it got suspended by the FA because he ran on and gave the linesman some abuse when he gave a decision. So I was it for a day and it was live on Sky, Bristol Rovers, Macclesfield won 2-1 in the end. And as I was mascotting and walking around the pitch, tannoy announcement came over. Would L675 NUM registration plate please move? You're blocking an entrance. I'm like stood there in this lion outfit, like riling the crowd. And I'm like, how the hell am I going to move my van? But luckily the girlfriend at the time came and got the keys and moved it. So I got away with that one. So that was a great day. But so I saw the pitch a lot. I remember at the end of season renovations when they did the scarifying, because they didn't really do much renovations back then. Like the budget for the pitch back then was like £3,000 for the whole year. And I remember seeing the pitch scarified, and some of the length of grass that came up was about 6 inches long. No kidding, it was ridiculous how long it was, and that's just because they've been cut in the same direction all year. And then it had just grown on the floor, and then when they raked it up, it would just all stood up like that, and then they scalped it all off and started again. So that's what would happen if we didn't do this. So just a little trip down memory lane and a bit of knowledge as well. So let's now get on with the rotary. We want to go back against the stripes that we've just done, so that we're not flattening, because if we just go, we'll just flatten that down, the same thing, so we'll actually cut. So if we come this way, the hater will push this grass back this way and then chop all the long growth back like on the other job. And you saw the other night what the results was like that, it was spot on. So we'll do that and then we're one step nearer the finished result. Right, that's done. So, if you noticed in the time lapse there, I lost track of where I was. I got all discombobulated. And I was at the top and I was looking back and I couldn't see my stripes because they're all mixed up. I'm not sure what happened there. There must be the heat getting to me and I'm dehydrated and it's getting towards lunchtime and I'm getting a bit hungry. So anyway, we had to just come back down and basically start again and just reset where I was, but managed it in the end. So we're looking good. What I'm going to do now is put the cassette, the cylinder cassette, back in the eyelet, and then we're going to go over it back in our usual stripe pattern. And the reason I start on this bottom corner is just because when I get my mower out I can just start and run up there rather than having to drive all the way to the top of the drive and then back down. So it's just laziness really, and then we'll start to burn that pattern in over the coming days and weeks after we've fed it and stuff. So get on with the cylinder. Okay, so you've just been over it with the cylinder. You can see now we're probably around about 15 to 20 mil, something like that. Really good. Only regret from today is that I didn't have that scarifying, because I really would have liked to see some grooves running through this. But what I can do is, when I go home, I can stick the verticutting attachment in the van, and then next time I'm here, I can just put that in the eyelet and run over it and really give it some more, because I've still got some of the lateral growth from the reproductive leaf there, which the verticutting attachment will just rip through that and get that up. So a bit disappointing, but I'm glad we got on top of the height because it was getting away with itself. It feels really strong, really rooted well. I'm half tempted to dig a little bit up just to see how deep those roots are, but I'll have to do it in an area where Steve's not going to notice because I'll get in trouble. So it's time now to get on with the liquid stuff. So we're going to be using the H2Go wetting agent. What this is going to do, it's going to go in, it's going to coat all those soil sand particles with a polymer to allow the water to get through easily. And like I've already said in my other videos, is that if the water can get through, nutrition's going to get through. That's going to go down deeper into the root zone, and then the roots are going to go down after it and make our root system even stronger and not come up to the surface when it's hot and then they get frazzled and then die. So that's why we do that. Make watering easier as well, so we get more out of our watering, so there's less evaporation. And if you're on a meter, this really does pay dividends, because what you don't be doing is watering and then it just evaporating, and then you're just wasting money and precious water reserve. Sorry, I've got a bit of ahead of myself. I'm going to put the granular feed in there, aren't I? So yeah, so let's get on with the granular feed. Let's get that on, because it's due a feed. We can see it's just yellowing in places, and this will be because in certain areas there's more sand, because we topped it up in areas, so it's a bit uneven in that way, but it'll soon blend in once we get the Equinox on. Give it a week and it'll be absolutely spot on. So let's get on with that, and then we'll get on with the wetting agent. So that went on pretty well. 29 on the rotary setting there on the Scott's Miracle Grow setting. So I can just go on at 29 because I'm pretty good by now, so I know what I'm doing. But like again, just reiterate, if you're uncomfortable with just going on straight away, weigh out what you need. So this lawn is 100 square meters. If you want to go on at 30 grams a square meter, weigh out 3 kilograms, put your setting on a very, very low setting, the lowest setting, and just go up and down multiple times, left to right, up and down, until you run out, and then you know you've more or less done a really accurate job. Then plenty of water. Don't wait the 1 or 2 days for rain to fall. The quicker you get the water on, the quicker the feed's going to be released and break down and give you that colour. Because if you leave it, it's not going to scorch because it's polymer coated, but we want that success in the result straight away, so we get on the water straight away. Because we're putting the wetting agent on, it gives us double reason to do that, so we can water everything in at once, and the water can take things down with it. So that's why we do that. So I'll go and get my sprayer, get all the stuff I need, and we'll spray that on. Right, so I've mixed the tank, I've got Steller and I've got wetting agent in here, H2Go. I've got 400 mils of the wetting agent in, that goes on at 4 mils per square metre, just going at a higher rate today because of the weather, and we're going to give it a good water and really want to get that in, and it's only had one application this year. Steller in there too, 2 mils per square metre, so I've got 200 mils in there again for a 100 square metre lawn. I haven't got any grace in there because I haven't got any, I've run out, I haven't replenished my van, so we're good to go, and then we'll get on with some watering. Right, what I forgot to tell you was, obviously I added water to these products, or added the products to the water. Now, how much water do you need? This is a question I get asked a lot. You should know that your lawn takes a certain amount of water to spray in your sprayer. This lawn takes 4 litres of water in this. So what I do is, I get my products, which today were 600 mils. I deduct that off my 4 litres and then add them together. So when I finish adding it to the tank, I've got 4 litres of finished product in there, not 4 litres of water plus the 600 mils of stuff that I used. 4 litres all told. Then I spray how I usually spray, and I run out just as I finish. So that's easy. So that's all sprayed on. Now it's time to get on with the hose pipe and water it through. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to do it by hand, and I'm literally just going to water the edges just to make sure I get plenty of water in there for the rest of the week, so these haunches on the edges of the stone there don't burn the edges of the lawn, which they normally do. So we'll top up those first, and then we'll get on with the sprinkler in the main and leave that on, and I'll nip off and keep nipping back and changing direction of it. But we want to leave it on for a few hours, topping up those reserves like in the last video, so then when Friday comes, the manhole cover that's under there isn't showing through and burning, which it does when it gets really hot for a continued amount of time. So now we're just on with the easy bit. After all that hard work in this heat, and this, I must get some new tops because these are really heavy cotton and they're so hot. So I need to get some like thinner ones. So what we're doing is we can just water the edges with that, and it doesn't matter what you use, heavier the better really. And you can always use the hose pipe just to cool down the concrete to stop them burning the edges. You can just see on the edge there it is just slightly sticking down, and that's a good sign to show that the grass is just a little bit dehydrated because it's not popping back up like here. And you fully expect that on days like this. And this hasn't had any water since it last rained at the weekend, so we're 3 days since then. So we're in good condition because the roots are really deep and there's plenty of water in there because of all the wetting, well not all the wetting agents we put on because it's only had one this year, but that is just paying dividends for us, and now we're going to top that up. So I get asked a lot, can I do a video on watering? Very difficult because each lawn's different. Every lawn needs different amounts because you've got sandy bases like this one which needs quite a lot, but if you've got a clay or a soily one, it's going to hold a lot more water, so you don't need to worry about watering as much. So I'll have to come up with a way where I can do a video to appease everyone who wants one. So I'll just carry on up here and then I'll get the sprinkler out. Right, so that's this video done with. I know what you're thinking, why has he done that? It was looking so good, but it's got to be done so we can get more out of it throughout the year. This time of year, it's 1 week's pain for 1 month's gain. So remember, that in the long run is better than just keeping on doing what you're doing and then getting a month down the line and having more problems. I know your neighbours will be sniggering and going, it looked decent yesterday, what's he doing? But you'll have the last laugh when your lawn looks like Wembley. Now, on to the birthday celebrations that I promised. Somebody got in touch and asked if I'd give a shout out. Somebody is a good friend of the channel, watches all the videos, never misses one, never slides or skips. Sounds like a real saddo, to be honest. But happy 36th birthday to Kobe Benson down in London. Your wife got in touch and asked me to give you a shout out. So there you go, happy birthday my friend, and I'll see you all very soon.